About the chart, I think I've finished.
I was sure you'd do very well. You've always been talented for this sort of activity. But don't forget, the difficulty often lies more in the interpretation of a chart, and especially in the way you present it to the subject. The stars give us orientations, tendencies, but they never predict a certain immutable future. In any case, I'm delighted that you've retained the few rudiments of astrology I taught you. But now that you've reviewed your fundamentals and know how to dress like your brother, you'll have to learn to talk like him. To start, try to pitch your voice right. Then think about what you're saying. César might not give the same answer as you.
All right, let's try.
Say something, anything, to see how you place your voice.
Something. Anything.
Excellent. You've completely grasped your brother's expression, but there's still some progress to be made on the voice. Try again.
Anything.
No.
Anything.
Not quite there yet.
Anything.
Perfect. You've done it. Let's take a little knowledge test. Don't forget to pay as much attention to your voice as to the answer. What's the first sign of the zodiac?
Aries.
Perfect. What zodiac sign rules the heart?
Leo.
That's right, but you mustn't forget to control your voice. What common product is often used to avoid contagion?
Vinegar?
Think of your voice. How do you determine someone's sign?
According to the position of the sun in his natal sky.
That's it, precisely. But we must expect changes in this respect, since our calendar is supposed to change before the end of the century.
What do you mean?
It's not precise enough. I think we're going to change our system of calculation. And according to my predictions, we'll also eliminate 10 days, so that Easter will once again fall on April 21st, as it did a very long time ago. Oh, that won't change things much, but the signs of the zodiac will be shifted by 10 days.
So someone like Catherine de Medici, who was born on April 13th, would no longer be a Taurus, but an Aries?
Exactly. All right, let's get back to the test. You still haven't convinced me that you are ready to undertake this strange adventure. What very rare animal matter crosses the seas before finishing in the hands of apothecaries?
Ambergris.
Exactly. Ambergris is a secretion of the sperm whale that's purified in the ocean for a good 10 years before it can be used. It has nothing to do with amber, which comes from the resin of trees. I'm afraid you may not be up to the task.
I'll do my best.
At least you do a good job imitating your brother's voice. That's in your favor. What do you think of the theory that places the sun in the center of the universe?
Heliocentrism. Copernicus is right. All the calculations prove it.
So try to be careful about what you say. Even if I agree with you, you take big risks in making declarations like that. What is it we call the rising sign in a star chart?
It's the sign of the zodiac that's rising on the horizon at the moment of birth.
That's right. And that's just why you have to know someone's time and place of birth to determine his rising sign. What is an astrological aspect?
It's the side of the planet that's visible from the Earth at the time you do the chart.
Well, if you don't possess his knowledge, at least you've got a certain talent for imitating your brother. Let's continue. What zodiac sign rules the heart?
Leo.
Perfect. Very good, young lady. You've done well. Now it's time for me to show you how to perfect your outfit. Tomorrow morning, you're going to the chateau to meet the Queen, and I want to be sure everything's perfect.
The earth hasn't shaken like that in a long time. This isn't a good omen.
I'm here to see Her Majesty Catherine de Medici.
Enter. Her Majesty is expecting you.
You may enter.
Your Majesty?
César de Notre-Dame, I am delighted to meet you. Your father must esteem you highly to send you to me. He must have explained to you how difficult I am to satisfy.
You were mistaken, Your Majesty. He would never have said such things.
Don't be afraid to be frank, my boy. When we are alone, I expect you to say what you mean. I need someone I can trust, and not another hypocrite. According to Chavigny, your father is the author of this quatrain. Yet, when I spoke to him of it, he didn't seem to remember. It would seem that these verses are becoming reality. I need to know how this story will turn out, and if misfortune can be avoided. A scribe has traveled from Moulins with me. He has noted all the tragic events that have occurred in recent days. He has the order to transmit to you any information you consider useful. He's waiting for you, next door.
Very well, Your Majesty. I shall do my best to solve this mystery.
I don't doubt it, César. You may leave now.
I almost forgot. It's for you. My father's idea.
He hasn't forgotten what a sweet tooth I have. Thank him for thinking of it, and thank you for preparing it. Go now. You have much to do.
César? You're really him?
To be sure.
I thought you'd be older. I'm surprised.
Don't worry. My father wouldn't have sent me in his place if he hadn't thought I was up to the task.
I didn't mean to offend you, sir. Your youth does you honor. Her Majesty asked me to give you this. These are the notes I took concerning the strange events of the last few days.
Can you give me a brief summary of what happened?
Of course. On March 20th, the chambermaid of Princess Marguerite was found dead. The circumstances were suspicious. The next day, it was young Henry of Navarre's tutor. We all know that one misfortune leads to another, and that our Lord certainly has his reasons for calling his children back to him. But when, over the following 2 days, a lady companion of Her Majesty Catherine de Medici, as well as the personal chef of King Charles IX, died in turn, the Queen Mother convened Jean-Aimé de Chavigny to ask his advice. That is how she came to learn of the quatrain written by your father, and decided to leave Moulins and the court to consult him.
Did you notice any particular connection among the deceased?
They all belonged to the retinue of the royal family, and therefore must have known each other. But beyond that, I don't see anything special permitting to establish a connection among them. But perhaps you will find helpful details in my notes. You know, I do not spend much time in the company of my fellow men, so sometimes I have a hard time understanding them.
Since your arrival, have there been any new incidents?
Unfortunately, yes. Yesterday, Her Majesty's coachman, and this morning, the castle librarian.
You mean the latest victim is not part of the royal retinue?
It's true. I hadn't thought of that. But it's probably not very significant. The curse is following Her Majesty. There are but 4 deaths left, my young friend, before evil strikes the royal family itself. Let us hope you can thwart the plans of the devil, with the help of God.
Could I see the bodies of the coachman and of the librarian, and also the places where they found them?
The librarian, Philibert, was found in the scriptorium, but I had him carried to the chapel to prepare him for burial. So start by visiting the library. It's just at the bottom of the stairway. You'll see that the accident that killed him caused a great deal of damage.
And the coachman?
He has already been buried. What with fear of the plague, bodies have to be got rid of quickly.
I understand. Thank you for your assistance. Did you know the librarian?
Only slightly. We exchanged a few words, but nothing important. I only know that he'd been here just 10 days or so, and had a lot of work. The Archdiocese has many precious works, but till now, nothing had been done to classify them properly.
Without the birth date, it's impossible to determine the astrological sign. The zodiac isn't complete, yet the astrological signs of the victims seem to follow in order. Without the birth date, it's impossible. That must be where the librarian's body was found. There might be something important to discover. I'll have to clear it. It's locked. Perhaps it contains some of the librarian's things. I'll have to clear it. Too high. That's better. At last I'll be able to examine up close the place where that poor Philibert died. Well before the Romans occupied France, the Celts, a pagan people from the north, claimed to be able to predict the future. It is said they built many underground temples, where they conducted dark ceremonies. So, Philibert was interested in the Celts and their temples. It's surprising that he'd spend time on this sort of thing when the scribe said he had so much to do since his arrival. Strange, this pile of sawdust. That's what I thought. The break is too clean to be due to wear. Someone sawed this shelf. Philibert's death was therefore no accident. But who within these walls would have a reason to kill him? He didn't lose enough blood to die from that. He must have passed away due to an internal injury. I'll be back when I have something new.
I'm here to see Her Majesty Catherine de Medici.
Enter.
What is there over here?
Nothing interesting, sir. For that matter, you're not authorized to go that way.
well before the Roman, it is said. So, it's surprising. He didn't lose enough blood to die from that. These books are magnificent. Luckily, they weren't damaged in the fall. Given the fall they've suffered, they ought to be in pitiful shape.
Have you found anything interesting?
Jean-Aimé, I should have suspected you not be far away. I'm delighted to see you again in Salon.
I as well, young César. You've changed a great deal since our last meeting, and you must have made great strides, too, for your father to send you in his place, unless he's really in very poor health.
You can go visit him if you're worried about him. He'll be delighted to show you he's not yet an invalid. But to get back to this case, I've actually discovered that the librarian's death wasn't accidental. In any case, the shelf didn't fall on its own. It was sawed through.
Barely arrived and you already suspect a murder. You don't waste any time.
I'm merely observing. I'll draw my conclusions later. I haven't even examined the poor man's body yet.
It's in the chapel. I won't go with you. I've just come from there. And besides a head injury that must have caused his death, Philibert doesn't have much to show us anymore.
I'll make sure of that myself.
Well then, see you later, César. If you need help, I'll be in my office. Being the son of a talented man has never helped anyone prove intelligent.
I'll remember that.
I was joking, you know that. Oh, say hello to your charming sister when you get the chance. If she hadn't been a woman, I'm sure your father would have sent her instead of you.